Hello, hello, hello. I am Lady Renae Thomas James, and welcome back to the Vineyard of Wellness, the journey of being mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially healthy and well. Welcome back, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome, darling. How are you doing? Stay a while, consider subscribing. And if you've been here before and you're an OG, thank you for coming back. I hope you are subscribed, but thank you. This is the Vineyard of Wellness, where we are on a journey of being our best selves daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and we are doing it with intention. Let me tell you something. If you are watching on YouTube, I'm going to squirt over. I have a plant that is in rehabilitation behind me. Let me see if I can you see? Can you see? There it is. And the plant was in that area and it was doing well, and I moved it closer to the window where it could actually see the sky, which is what they should like. It didn't do well at all, darling. So we put her back and she is in rehabilitation. So today we are going to talk about the value of self-love. And before I move on to the value of self-love, I want to talk about the things that I'm loving this past week. But we only have one, and it is not a product. This comes to you from my daughter who just turned 22 years old. We had a birthday date with her, just she and me, just the both of us, and her and I, whatever the English is. And we had a date, and I asked her, what is something that you would like to say to me that you wouldn't normally say to me or you've never said to me before? And I think she said, just be mindful of how you talk to the people in the family when you talk to the people in the family. And she has said before in the past that, I'm a little bit of a spitfire, which I am. And then for her to say this now, and I think when she said that was maybe over a month ago, to come back maybe 6 or 7 weeks later to say, just to be mindful of what you say to the family, how you say to the family. I was very appreciative of her in that moment, because oftentimes we don't allow our children the space to speak freely and criticize us from a genuine, loving, honest, and transparent place. We take that personally and then we act out. And I'm like, no, this is a safe space. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And for her, to just say that I valued her and still value her words in that moment. And it tells me that, while I'm a spitfire, I have to be mindful of the things I'm saying to, or how I'm speaking to the people around me, and just be mindful of how that affects them. And that brings us to today's topic of the value of self-love. And stay with me. You will see how that plays into what we are talking about today. So the value of self-love. I am currently running a program called the Wellness Society, and we kickstarted this past Wednesday rather, February 14th, and we started off with the value of self-love. And while I am not going to give you the whole presentation because that is a paid for program, I'm going to give you a snippet of what we touched on, just a snippet. So we touched on what is self-love. Self-love means that you accept yourself fully and wholly with gentleness and respect. You accept yourself fully and wholly, and you treat yourself with gentleness, kindness, and respect. You also nurture your growth and well-being. You also nurture your growth and well-being. Self-love encompasses not only how you treat yourself, but more importantly, how you speak to yourself, your thoughts, and your inner dialogue. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so with that being said, I want to talk just 5 ways on how you can show your self-love. And we have another episode very similar to this. I can list it below or tag it below, or you can go back and look for it. I think it's called How to Show Your Self-Love, right? So we're going to look at 5 ways different from what we spoke about before of how you can show yourself love. Some, of course, may be included because They're all intertwined, and some you'll be hearing for the first time. Number one, speak to yourself kindly. Speak to yourself kindly. And I started off with that because I gave you the story about what my daughter said. Be mindful of how I'm speaking to the people around me. Because the truth is, oftentimes, the way we speak to ourselves, not always, but quite oftentimes, the way we speak to ourselves, chances are that's how we are also speaking to other people. So it is important that we are mindful of how we speak to ourselves, that inner dialogue. Are we being kind and gentle to our beings? Are we busy doing to the point that we are forgetting to just be human beings, right? Do we use words like, call ourselves stupid? I honestly don't want to say I am, so I didn't say it. Because I'm like, I can't get that out. Like, no. Do we call ourselves stupid? Do we call ourselves foolish? Do we use the H word with ourselves? Hate. And I heard something quite contradictory few years ago. I was in a Christian group, and this is why it was for me very alarming. I was in a Christian group, and someone said, some of the things that she hated about herself. Hated. I said that correctly. Hated. And I interjected, and I'm like, are you sure you want to use the word hate? And she said yes. They're just we can't love everything about ourselves. And I agree with that. We may not love everything about ourselves, but do we have to go to the extreme of hating a certain thing about us? Can we get to the point where we are nurturing our beings, where we say that, you know what? I don't like this about myself, and I am working to improve it. I don't like X about myself, for example. You may not like the way you feed or nurture your body. You're working to improve how you eat. You may not like the fact that, you move, your movement is less per day that you'd want. You're working on moving more per day. You may not like your skin or skin condition. You're working daily to improve that skin condition. But to use the word hate, do you know that does to you psychologically? You lock that word in. And my son chose now to be vacuuming, and I'm hoping that you're not hearing it. So that hate, those hate speeches, those hate dialogues that we have with ourselves, we want to work towards changing that. And while it is easier said than done, we can start by number one, giving ourselves grace, knowing that, you know what, I may not be aware of how long I've been talking to myself this way, and it might be harder to change than I expect. However, I'm going to daily, intentionally work on speaking to myself a little bit more kindly. Number two, stop comparing yourselves to others. I know you hear it all the time. Comparison is the thief of joy. Facts, 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 facts. If you want to feel awful about yourself, and if you want to use that H word with yourself, for sure, compare yourself to another person. Compare yourself to another person. For sure, you don't allow yourself to grow. You don't allow yourself to give yourself grace. You don't allow yourself improvement when you compare yourself to others. Not only that, you might be comparing your day one to someone else's year 10, year 15, even if that person is 10 days ahead of you and you're comparing yourself to them. It's wrong. Let's say both of you are comparing yourself to someone who is starting a similar journey as you on the same day of your day one then. Again, because we're different people, our day one looks differently. In addition, we all have different perspectives on life. We have different perspectives on growth. We have different perspectives on well-being. We have different perspectives on just being and living. Hence, what you might consider to be the lifestyle that is perfect or, good for you, someone else, it might be different. Hence, their walk is going to be different. If it's comparing yourself to how, number one, they live, where they work, their educational background, how well they do academically. You might just be one to excel in art. My daughter, our firstborn, she also spoke to me about she's wanting me to be more involved in her reading and her authors. And I said to her, I would love to promise you that, but you have never been someone that anybody in the family compares themselves to academically and where reading is concerned. She reads extensively, and she has been doing this since the age of 5 and actually got into reading before the age of 5. And I said to her, we've always respected you in that regard. No, I had my son coming up. I could never compare them. And what I ensured is that they didn't compare themselves academically. One, academically, she is vast. The other one, for some unreason, that young man, he is able to just his brain works well where marketing is concerned, and spending less and doing more. That is the thing. And what do? I show them where their strengths are, and I value that in them. So what you don't want to do is go comparing yourselves to others. How do you not compare yourself to another person? Ask yourself, what am I good at? What comes naturally for me? What is it that I do that comes naturally for me? And I know I wouldn't even ask by saying that would be difficult for another person, because you don't know. But what flows for you? When you're doing it, you're in flow. For me, believe it or not, is picking up the camera and talking to you. For me, believe it or not, is nurturing the plants around me. If they're doing well, if they're not doing well. And that is why I even started a plant care and maintenance service where I offer that online as well. For me, it's the ability to know and understand women deeply, their struggles, without judging them. Because some people feel like they're not judging when they truly are. They are not aware of the words that they're using. But I allow people the time and space to make mistakes, to say something that is not as wise, not as welcoming by others. But for me, it's like, no, speak your truth. It may not be what even you want to hear, but allow yourself the freedom to just live and be. For me as well, it's writing, it's photography. Those things for me come naturally. I'm in flow. It's effortless. Not without challenge. Not without challenge, but it comes with a certain type of ease. I was talking to somebody the other day, even with the plants, like I don't cut off my yellowing plants. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know this. I do not cut off my yellowing leaves off my plants, because I love to see the living, and then for the yellowing that's passing, they're passing in peace, but they're still among the living. That for me speaks volume. People think it's weird. It doesn't bother me. So for me, I have a plant right now. It's blooming. It's my peace lily. It's blooming. It has lush green leaves, and it also has yellowing leaves, and that for me is beauty. I could talk about that all day. So do not compare yourself to others. You can start by valuing the things you do that comes with ease, and when you're doing it, you are in flow. Trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself. I'm going to say that again. Trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself. I've realized that people don't trust themselves. Like, how are you going to trust another person to make a decision for you? And I find that comes when you are not confident in who you are. You're not confident in your being. And let me tell you, when I named this podcast The Vineyard of Wellness, and of course the journey of being mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially healthy and well, I find that a lot of people, they are too busy doing, they forget to just be. So a part of being and trusting your being is trusting the decisions that you're making for yourself. It may go well, it may not go well, and that is okay. It's okay. It's okay. If it doesn't go well, there might be a lesson on that path. There might not be a lesson on that path. The lesson may be that you trusted yourself to make that decision, and that trust in yourself strengthens for the next decision that you make for yourself. It doesn't mean that everyone is going to be on board, and everyone doesn't have to be on board with the decisions you make for yourself. That's okay. That's okay. Trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself. And if along the path it wasn't a good decision, that's okay. Forgive yourself and give yourself grace. Yes? Yes. Number 4, other people's opinion is none of your business. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Do y'all hear me in the back? Other people's opinion is none of your business. While another person's opinion can be a compliment, another person's opinion can be destructive. And guess what? While compliments are nice, what happens if they don't come? What happens if they come few and far? You have to be willing to trust and know that you are well just by being. That person's opinion of you can either make you or break you. And you have to ask yourself, what if I didn't have that opinion? What would I do then? Trust yourself to be. Be the best you can be in different aspects of your life. Be the best you can be at your morning routine, your night routine, on your job, the way you care for your family, the way you interact with Christ, the way you give thanks. Be the best you can be when it comes to taking care of yourself. Be the best you can be if you love cooking, when you're cooking, when you're cleaning, when you're organizing, whatever your thing is, be the best you can be. When someone else comes with a compliment, that's the icing on the cake or the cherry on top. Opinions, while they can be beautiful, they can also be very harmful. But through it all, I want you to get to a point where you know and love yourself to the point where a person's opinion, if it is positive, it is a cherry on top. If it is the negative, you're at a place where, oh, that might prick, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Right? Lastly, and this one is very controversial, feel pain and joy as fully as you can. Feel pain and joy as fully as you can. Now, this may be controversial because some people, they want to escape the pains of life, and that isn't life. Some people want to be happy always. I once said to someone that if you're happy always, that is flatlining. Your heartbeat you have a pulse. Your heartbeat goes up and down. When you're flatline, guess what? You're dead. You're dead. I was talking to someone the other day, and this person said to me, I am afraid to allow myself to be happy because every time I get happy, sadness is around the corner. And I asked myself first, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with sadness? Is sadness so bad that I'm not going to allow myself to be happy because sadness is going to come? That's normal. So I said to the person, what is so wrong with sadness that you wouldn't even allow yourself to be happy? What's so wrong with sadness? The person said, I don't like to feel sad. And I'm like, that's understandable that you don't like to feel sad. But again, what is so wrong with sadness? I may not like the thing, but that's normal. Feeling happy, feeling sad, feeling a little bit low, feeling down. Those are normal feelings and emotions. And for us trying to escape them is for us trying to tell God that I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to show you that you are not in control of me. I am in control of me, but yet still the sadness is gonna come and the happiness is gonna come. So why not try? Why is it that we can't try to relinquish ourselves of the weight of trying to order our feelings and our emotions and just feel it? Feel the pain. It's okay. Talk to yourself through it. Talk to yourself through it. What am I feeling? How does this thing make me feel? Look, I will give a good cry any day. Whatever that pain or that sadness is, I'll talk myself through it, because sometimes it's to get a good cry. And crying does something for the soul. Woo! Crying does something for your spirit and your soul and your being. Crying helps you to just relieve yourself of the weight, the heaviness. Crying helps you to submit to that feeling, that emotion, whatever might be happening in your life at that time, to just submit to it. Crying for me helps me to just give it to God. Feel pain and joy as fully as you possibly can. The thing that we are afraid of, but it is inevitable, sometimes have a strong hold on us, and we wonder, why is it that we can't be happy or be joyful? I like to say joyful because joy is consistent. But why is it that we can't maintain joy like the next person? And we fail to realize that that next person is okay with feeling pain, joy, happiness, highs and lows, and understanding that this is life, and their perspective and reaction to feeling those things is entirely different from yours. Life is challenging. Life comes with flow. Life comes with ease. Life comes with difficulty. Life comes with tears. Life comes with smiles. Life comes with laughter. Life comes with warmth. And embracing it all is beautiful. Life comes with a lot of things where you want to cuss out some people sometimes, even that sometimes feel good. Saying, no, the grace of God is good cause. And that is all a part of life. And wanting to escape it, that is the sad part of life. That is when you get to the end of life and say you've never lived. For me, I don't fear death. And maybe because my grandfather, who I was close to, he died when I was, I think he's 11 or 12. My father, who I was also close to, he died when I was 24, 25. So I lost two very important men in my life pretty early, but they impacted my life greatly. And for those reasons, I talk about passing in my household like it's normal. I tell them, don't bury me, cremate me. Cremate me. Like, if y'all bury me, I'm gonna be so mad. First of all, I'm claustrophobic. It makes sense. It makes sense. Don't come for me. It makes sense. And secondly, my husband says cremate him also. And I said to my kids, if we pass before you two, mix our ashes. Mix our ashes. Self-love is embracing it all. Self-love is valuing the highs and the lows in your life. Self-love is taking note of the small things around you. Self-love is taking note of what makes you smile. Self-love is taking note of what brings you joy. For me, and I just recently got a new pet. I'll talk about that in the next podcast. It's watching the pets and becoming a pet mom and a plant mom. And just to see how life has character and personalities around me. And when I say life, I mean the life of plants, the life of people, and the life of pets. Self-love is valuing all of that and more. Thank you for being with us this week. This is the Vineyard of Wellness, the journey to being mentally, spiritually, emotionally, socially healthy and well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, as that helps me in the eyes of the algorithms. I have homework. Your homework is list and carry out 3 ways you can show yourself love. So this is a journal prompt for your homework. Just one, list and carry out 3 ways you can show yourself love this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode of the Vineyard of Wellness.